Hi, it's Uncle Larry. What I want to do today is use part of my own journey to illustrate the idea that practical experience trumps theoretical knowledge. I'm not coming to bury theoretical knowledge, just to put it in its place. In pursuit of knowledge and mastery, there exists an age-old debate between theory and practice. Which comes first? Which is more important? You might hear a common expression like this. In theory, it's like this, but in practice, it's much different. Notice how theory almost always precedes practice. Well, I want to suggest that more often than not, it's the other way around. Philosopher Gene Callahan agrees with me. He puts it this way, quote, "The theoretical understanding of some activity is always the child of practical know-how and never its parent," unquote. So, on his account, practical experience comes before theory, not the reverse. This perspective challenges the prevailing belief in the supremacy of theory. Most of us think things like putting theory into practice or that theory begat practice. The very idea that practical know-how must have preceded the development of a theory doesn't even occur to us. The privileging of practical experience over theory is a challenge to the conventional notion of intellectual superiority. It highlights the fallacy of assuming that theoretical knowledge alone is enough for mastery of something, and underscores the value of mastery of something gained through actual experience and engagement. In not studying but doing, if you will. This would mean expertise is not derived solely from abstract theories, but is grounded in the understanding acquired through hands-on experience and the direct learning that comes from intimate apprenticeship. Now, this is starting to sound a little dense, so let me offer a couple of examples. Back when I was taking night classes at the University of Winnipeg in the 80s, my colleagues and I would often head to the old Union Center bar across the street. This would be after class. Sadly, it's not there anymore. Anyways, it was there I heard the story of this young, frustrated fellow student who was a pretty gifted trumpet player. Technically gifted, that is. As we drank the cheap beer, he moaned about the fact that no matter how much he studied his instrument, he could never play with the same charisma and intensity of his idol, Miles Davis. Turns out this guy had been studying trumpet from the time he was a kid, and he knew music theory and everything. He said, "I can transcribe entire passages from Miles and play them note for note, but I can't get to his sound." Well, what he failed to take into account was the fact that Miles Davis cut his teeth on a stage. Whatever Davis's formal training may or may not have been, his whole career was built on the practical experience of apprenticing with other trumpet players, working with the mood of an audience, working in the recording studio, in essence of doing the thing. So unless this fellow started getting that kinds of hands-on engagement and experience, of course he would never get near the essence of Miles Davis's sound. And I do wonder what happened to him. Okay, example number 2. This is a paraphrase from philosopher Michael Oakeshott, who I should disclose is a great influence on me. Imagine a tale of two cooks. One we'll call the rationalist cook, and the other we'll call the skilled chef. Keep in mind that Oakeshott's perspective underscores the idea that genuine expertise is cultivated through immersion in practical endeavors. So, the rationalist cook is armed with theoretical knowledge gleaned from a wall of cookbooks and recipes, but he fails to replicate the culinary mastery of the skilled chef. Despite repeated failures, the rationalist cook keeps going back to his wall of recipes, perpetuating a cycle of disillusionment and futile search for ever more rational recipes. Meantime, the skilled chef just whistles away, embodying a depth of knowledge that transcends theoretical understanding honed through years of learning by doing, learning from working under other cooks and hands-on apprenticeship and intimate familiarity with the art of cooking. So, those are just 2 examples to serve as a cautionary tale against the over-reliance on theory at the expense of practical experience. Theoretical knowledge often falls short in capturing the essence of a skill, which is acquired directly from doing, not theorizing, through intimate experience and apprenticeship. Now, you may have been watching and listening to all of this and noticed the wall of books behind me. It might have dawned on a few of you that me speaking about how practical experience precedes theoretical knowledge is a bit rich when it appears I have spent a great deal of time immersed in theoretical pursuits myself. Yep, can't get more theoretical than theology and philosophy. Guilty as charged. I entered my first post-secondary institution at age 18 and never stopped until I graduated at 40. I got my 2 degrees one piece at a time while I built a successful career in broadcasting, where most of you know me from. Some of you former radio listeners never knew I was going to school for a lot of that time, did you? Now you do. Well, perhaps it was because I was a little thick, but I had to go through this whole process to discover thinkers like Oakeshott, among others, who taught me the value of practical experience, to affirm the primacy of practical experience in the pursuit of mastery. Authentic expertise is not derived solely from abstract theories. Don't misunderstand me, though. This isn't a screed against having a theoretical education or coming from a theoretical background. But many of you won't need that background to become expert in your field. And you shouldn't feel deficient for having learned by doing. That's my whole message. By embracing the wisdom gained from practical endeavors, we can transcend the limitations of theoretical knowledge and cultivate a deeper appreciation for the richness of human experience in all of its forms.